to the Dean of the College of Science and Liberal Arts. I'm also an instructor, and I teach courses such as religion and culture, race and ethnicity, and a few others.
Environment, society.
Environment, society, and technology, too. Tonight is my class for environment, society, and technology.
Whoa.
They're having a midterm, even though I'm not there. Is anybody here from my Monday night class? You finished the exam? Didn't take you long. We're very glad tonight to have two speakers. And first of all, I'd like to thank the members of the Muslim Student Association and the Jewish Student Organization for arranging this event. As Bruce Bouquet said, we hope it's the first of many. Someone recently was visiting NJIT on an accreditation visit and noted, unlike other campuses he'd been to, it seemed like many different people were communicating and interacting with other groups of people. He didn't see the isolation that he saw on other campuses. So that speaks well for NJIT. And I think in the future, we will continue with this kind of collaboration. Is there anything I can do
There.
Can you hear me? So tonight we're having a discussion being advertised as a debate, although doesn't fit into any of your standard debate formats, but indeed I think that it may turn into be a debate about Gaza, particularly the most recent events in Gaza. I just want to give you a very rough timeline about the events that we're going to focus on and tell you about how tonight's going to work. In January of 2006, Hamas won the Palestinian parliamentary election. The other group, Fatah, refused to hand over power. In June of 2007, after months of skirmishes, Hamas ousted Fatah in a bloody battle for power. In November 2007, there were peace talks between Israel and moderate Palestinians represented by Fatah. To make it short, the ceasefire did not work, did not last. Attempts to renew the ceasefire in December of 2008 failed amidst mutual recriminations. December 27, 2008, Israel launched an incursion into Gaza. That lasted until the end of the incursion in January the 18th, 2009. That certainly doesn't do justice to the history of the Palestinian-Israeli conflict. I will tell you, from a theoretical point of view, that whenever you have people with strong ethnic identities on the same territory, there will always be conflict. The question is, how can that conflict be managed? Especially when you have one group that is dominant over another. I won't start lecturing you about that, but there have been other similar conflicts, other situations where groups have demanded their own state. Some have succeeded, others have failed. That's not the only solution. I certainly don't know the solution to this issue as well. But I can think of, for example, a recent new state, Kosovo, that is surrounded by Serbia. And the Serbians living in Kosovo didn't like that situation, but so far, it hasn't become a failed state. I'm not going to say any more because I'll be stealing some of the thunder from our speakers. Tonight, we have two speakers, one representing the Palestinian point of view, and the other representing the Israeli point of view. And just a little bit of background. Mr. Ramsey Abdallah, here on your left, is a graduate of NJIT. He received his Bachelor of Science degree in Computer Science, and afterwards pursued his political interest in Middle East policies with a focus on Palestinian issues. He has been president of the Palestinian American Congress for the state of New Jersey, and is founder of a political action group called the Middle East Policy Political Action Committee that works to deal with misrepresentation of Palestinian issues presented in the media. He is of Palestinian descent and has been featured on numerous world news shows and has faced off with some of the most well-regarded representatives on the Israeli side. He has been published in various articles and books on the Palestinian issue, and is formerly a Commissioner of Human Rights for the state of New Jersey for Ethnic and Minority Affairs. So I'd like to welcome Mr. Ramsey. And I'm going in alphabetical order. We're also honored to have Dr. Daniel Mandel, who received his PhD in 1999 from the University of Melbourne, in Australia. He has co-authored submissions and testified before Australian parliamentary subcommittees. He's a frequent Middle East commentator in the United States and Australia. He's been quoted in newspapers such as the Washington Post and in journals like the National Review, the New Republic. Has been interviewed by CBS, ABC, Al Jazeera, and has been quoted also in newspapers and other publications. Presently, since 2005, he has been director of the Zionist Organization of America's Center for Middle East Policy. So welcome, Dr. Daniel Mandel. The way this is going to work tonight is that each of our guests will be given the opportunity to speak for a period of time, not too long and not too short. Mr. Abdallah will go first. Then Dr. Mandel will be given the opportunity to make opening comments and to rebut, if he wishes, anything that Ramsey Abdallah has presented. And finally, Mr. Abdallah will be given a chance to comment on what Dr. Mandel has said. And that will be our opening round. I will keep time. After that, I have about 10 or 12 questions, I've lost count, submitted by students that I have looked at. And I will direct my question, first of all, to one of our speakers. The other speaker will be given a chance to rebut, and then the first speaker can make a comment if he wishes. When that's over, we will have an open mic for questions from the audience. You can direct your question to either Mr. Abdallah or Dr. Mandel. There are a few rules. One question at a time. No follow-ups. That doesn't mean you can't ask more than one question, not at the same time. And we'll follow that same format I just mentioned. We will have an open forum for about 30 minutes. Does anybody have any questions? All right. That said, I would like Mr. Ramsey Abdallah to take the mic.
Given all this noise and the look of the room that we're in, I felt like I was in an airport for a minute. I don't know if that's such a good thing. I want to thank NJIT, the MSA, and the Jewish Student Organization for hosting this. I would certainly like to thank Dr. Brooks and Dr. Mandel for the opportunity to have this as an open discussion, an open forum at a university. It's probably one of the most daunting issues of our time, aside from this microphone. The Palestinian-Israeli conflict is one that still overshadows any other conflict that we see in recent times or in the past 70 years. It has now survived 60 plus years being in the media, being in the history books, and being in the minds and hearts of those who are affected by it most. The unfortunate thing is it is still considered to be somewhat taboo to discuss this issue in the open. And seeing that we're taking steps to actually bring forth the issue shows that there is a conscious effort for a resolve. We're here today to discuss with you the issue of the Gaza invasion, the 22-day Gaza invasion. It certainly was well telecasted through the media, through BBC, through Al Jazeera, through CNN, through MSNBC, more so than any of the previous conflicts concerning the Palestinians before. You'll come to see that there's two different point of views when it comes to Gaza and the legalities of this invasion. And hopefully, you'll get some information tonight to be able to determine your own opinions on the matter. During this 22-day invasion, and I'm quoting this from Mr. Richard Falk, UN rapporteur for the Human Rights Commission. 1,434 Palestinians were killed. Of them, 950 were civilians. In addition, 982 were wounded. And for people that don't know the demographics of Gaza, it certainly actually, to me, it surprised me that the body count wasn't even higher, given the density of Gaza. Gaza, all in all, is 78 square miles. And it hosts 1.5 million Palestinians. It was actually televised on MSNBC, for those of you that followed it. For every square mile in Gaza, there's 10,000 people, roughly. So if this massive assault was launched and its veracity, I am actually surprised that the death count is only 1,434. We're going to pause this for just 1 second to fix the mic, so please excuse us.
I'm sorry about that, but it'll be a lot better.